speak directly to Anna, Mike, Becky, Kelsey, your extended families, along with the entire Delphi community that certainly has grown and now includes our nation and even many countries around the world. I am proud to report to you that today, actually last Friday, was the day, and an arrest has been made.
Some closure for the family of Abby Williams and Libby German in the arrest of a suspect in their murders. It is a day that they have waited for since the girls disappeared on February 13th, 2017.
Though police would not release the details that led up to this arrest and the investigation, they did tell us that 50-year-old Richard Allen is charged now with 2 counts of murder. He's already had his initial hearing in court. Allen lives in Delphi, near where the murders happened.
We have team coverage of the arrest in this high-profile case. Karen Campbell will have reaction from Delphi, but we begin with Samantha Johnson, who was at that press conference this morning.
Julia, Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter made it very clear. He said this is not a day to celebrate. He said, in fact, this investigation is far from over. But he did tell us this is a day years in the making, and it hopes he brings a little bit of peace to this small Indiana community. We now know 50-year-old Richard Allen was charged with 2 counts of murder in the deaths of Abby Williams and Libby German. Superintendent Carter says it was 2,086 days ago when the 2 girls were found dead. And it wasn't until Friday when the Delphi Double Homicide Task Force could announce that arrest. We caught up with Libby German's grandmother, Becky Patty, right after today's announcement.
I don't feel like I thought I would. I've always said that I would be screaming on the rooftops, but we're not. It's sad. While there's somebody that's been arrested, there is, you know, our lives for 5.5 years have been in a search mode, and that's what we've done. And you get up and it's like, oh, we're not doing that anymore. So we're all just kind of feeling our way and figuring out what our purpose is now.
Today is no doubt an emotional day for both of these girls' families who have been waiting for answers for more than 5.5 years now. This has also been an emotional day for investigators and for law enforcement who have been a part of this case. That's what Superintendent Carter said, especially when it comes to seeking justice for these girls' families.
I stand before you in this church and very place where we held our first briefing nearly 6 years ago, and just hours after the murders of Abby and Libby. Right here. Pulling in today, I wasn't really sure what emotion I would experience. But peace came over me. And I didn't expect that to happen. And I hope all of you, with all the different responsibilities you have from around the planet today, have felt some of that as well. But remember, we're not done.
And we're not done yet was also the sentiment from Libby's grandfather, Mike Patty. We also talked to him after today's announcement, and he told us he's had confidence in police from the very beginning.
It was a kind of bittersweet, you know, it's I just know that there's another job, another hill for us to climb ahead of us, but we're up for the challenge, and we're going to keep after it. We're not going to stop.
Carroll County Sheriff Tobe Lesenby told us this investigation is still ongoing. The tip lines are still open in this case as well. Officials here did tell us that court documents will remain sealed to make sure justice is served for these 2 families. Allen, by the way, has already made his first appearance in court. We're told he will be back in court in January.
Sam, thank you. And we have just heard from CVS about 30 minutes ago.
And they confirmed to 13 News that Richard Allen worked at that Delphi location. CBS says that as members of the Carroll County community, they remain devastated by these murders. Their hearts go out to the German and Williams families.
The statement goes on to say they are shocked and saddened to learn that one of their store employees was arrested as a suspect. CBS says they are ready to cooperate with the police investigation. And after the news conference, Libby German's sister tweeted, "We got him. October 28th was the day," along with Allen's mugshot and the press release from the Indiana State Police. And a memorial for Abby and Libby is growing near the Monon High Bridge. This is the place where Abby and Libby went for a walk on February of 2017.
It is the same place that a man showed up and forced them down the hill. The crime has shaken the Delphi community, as you can imagine, to its core. Now with Richard Allen's arrest, they hope that Abby and Libby will finally get the justice that they deserve.
And it is hard to believe that it has been 5.5 long years for the families of Libby and Abby.
And it's also been tough on the entire community, as we've seen. Our team coverage continues with Karen Campbell, who's also in Delphi, with what people are saying this afternoon, Karen.
Hey there, Julia and Julia. You know, one word that encapsulates the feeling for so many here in Delphi is relief. Relief that authorities have finally arrested and charged a man in the murders of Abby and Libby. Now, downtown, we came downtown here today to talk to folks who we found were actually watching the news conference as it was going on. We found Valerie Latino and her friend watching this morning's news conference on a cell phone in a coffee shop. Valerie says, like so many others, she's followed this case religiously. And while she wanted to hear more about the suspect, Richard Allen, she says today should be about Abby and Libby, two young girls who were taken too soon.
I think after it happened, you know, I was nervous to go to trails alone. I have a daughter who is around the same age. I was nervous for her to go anywhere. So now that they kind of have someone that they suspect, it's relieving, makes me feel safer.
And flyers showing Libby and Abby continue to be posted up around downtown on businesses here. Just a reminder of those two innocent little girls, what they meant to this community, and the community's fight that they wanted to keep going all of this time, more than 5 years. They kept their fight going. And today, again, one word that describes the feeling here is simply relief. Julia.
Yes, thank you, Karen.
Well, the Delphi murder case is certainly complex, and it spans more than 5 years.
Our Emily Longnecker has been covering this since the girls disappeared back in February of 2017. She breaks down the history of this case.
It was supposed to be a walk in the woods shared by two friends. Abby Williams and Libby German had the day off from school that Monday in February 2017, so they went to this hiking trail near Delphi's Monon High Bridge. When the girls didn't return to the spot where they were supposed to be picked up, their families knew something was wrong. The following day, their bodies were discovered in a wooded area near the bridge. A day later, investigators released this image taken by Libby German with her cell phone. The man police would eventually say they believed was the killer. A week later, the public heard for the first time the man in the picture's voice via audio police said Libby also captured of him speaking. In those first days, Indiana State Police and the FBI set up a command center in downtown Delphi, receiving thousands of tips. None of them, though, led to any arrests in the case. 5 months later, police released this sketch saying it was the face of the man from the bridge. Still, though, no arrests, as the families of Abby and Libby held on to one belief.
Today's the day.
And that's what they continued to tell themselves, even 2 years later when police released a second sketch of a much younger-looking suspect, along with video of the man on the bridge walking. And more audio. Still, there were no arrests.
And that, of course, all changed on Friday when police officially charged 50-year-old Richard M. Allen with double murder. If you missed the news conference in Delphi announcing the arrest, we are going to play a big portion of that news conference again for you coming up in our 12:30 half hour.
In the meantime, you can also watch that and also read about the details of this case leading up to that arrest on WTHR.com and also on our streaming app.